guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to share 5 tips to crack any IT based interview. So before you guys get questioned like am I eligible to take this topic, let me clear that. Let me tell about myself. So I've completed my BE engineering in computer science, and in 3rd year I got selected in TCS, and in the 4th year ending I got selected in Tech Mahindra and one another startup company, and then L&T. So now I'm working in L&T. I selected L&T. There is no offense on any other companies, just that I got my joining date earlier in L&T than compared to other companies. So that's the only reason. So getting into the video. Now first, talking about in our final years, many companies will come to recruit us. The only mistake we make is we use a generalized pattern of preparation, which is not going to work for us. Each company have their own pattern. For example, when we take a aptitude exam, aptitude has many sections: quantitative analysis and verbal and reasoning, numerical reasoning. We have so many types in that. So some companies concentrate more on quantitative, some company concentrate more on numerical analysis. So you need to first figure out that the company you're going to get interviewed focuses on what. So you need to browse on the previous questions and come to know the pattern of the company and prepare accordingly. So 2 good websites that I would suggest for aptitude exam is indiabex.com and Geeks for Geeks. They help me majorly to clear the aptitude, so you guys can have a look. They have a set of practice questions and topic wise questions, and also company wise questions also, so you can have a look at it. And if you want something like a book, I would suggest Aptimitra. That is one good book to prepare for aptitude exam. So aptitude is the first hurdle. Once you clear that, I think the rest can go more smoothly. So the next one that I would say is programming skill. Being a computer science student, everybody would have experienced this, that learning so many different programming languages in the 4 years. And when it comes to programming, when they give a programming question, you'll get confused. Which should I choose, Java or C or Python, what? So in my college, they have taught me C, C++, Python, Java, .NET, what not. So learning all these programming languages, in the interview when they ask which programming language are you comfortable with, or when they give you a programming question, so that time you will be a bit in a cracky state, because you would have learned all the languages properly, and suddenly that question comes up that which are you better in. It's full of confusion. So what I would suggest is take one programming language which you feel more comfortable with, and which has more of importing of packages, where our code writing of the code reduces. So that kind of programming language, select it and master yourself in that one particular programming language, and continue that, like for your interviews and for your programming analysis test. Use that programming language as a primary stuff. Okay, so that can avoid more of mistakes in programming as well, because in some languages we use semicolon, in some we don't use semicolon. In Python, even a space matters. So all that problems will go if you concentrate on one language majorly and primarily. And if I say one of the easiest or the language that has more of packages, I would suggest Python. Python has more number of packages, but you have to be very careful with the spaces. So in which you can more concentrate and be better in it. So master yourself in that, and then give your programming test. The next major thing is it was a new pattern. So when I was nearing my final year, there was a new pattern that came up saying internship. So we had to do an internship in any company for 2 months, and that played a major role, which I realized later. So one of the biggest mistake what some people did, so people whom I know, what they did is they were paid internships, where we had to pay to get certificates, and we had to just do some kind of course which is not even relevant to what we have to work with. So that kind of courses some of them went. So I would largely suggest you to get into the actual company. Some companies do give internships, such as startup companies. So I did my internship in L&T. So like that, there are many companies that provide internship. So do internship in a proper company and not institute kind. Most of them did in institute, so it's not going to help. So do it in a proper company. It will add up to your resume as well. So when you put, you have done internship, the person who's interviewing you will understand that you're actually had an exposure of the industry. That was the purpose why we had to do internship. So don't do it in institutes, don't pay for internships, do it in actual companies. There are many companies who take up internships. Browse, Google tells us everything, so browse it and do it in a proper company. Another important point which I want to highlight is group discussion round. So in group discussion, it depends on the person who is interviewing you. The person might give you a chance to speak itself, asking you speak, or some people, they won't tell anything. They only just analyze on who comes up by themselves to talk. So make your space, make your own space to talk. Don't just pause and wait till everybody completes. Do not. So don't be offensive as well. When somebody is talking, don't interrupt, but when you have that small seconds of space, take it up. So take up your point and talk very confidently. You should talk. That is the most important thing. And one more thing is, we rush up with our points. Don't rush up with your points. Give pause for every full stop and every end of a sentence, and then talk. Not a long pause, but a short pause. So that will, define your sentence very clearly. So that is very important. And one more thing is, which I've seen is, in group discussion, it is something like a debate. Like you should talk on it or against it, something like that. So most of the people, first they'll talk for it. After listening to some points, they change it against it. Don't do that mistake. If you are talking for it, till end talk only for it. Don't talk suddenly, don't switch up to against it. So it will show that you're fluttering between the concepts. So don't do that mistake. Decide for it or against it, and till end go with it only. Do not change. And one more thing is, for programming, if you want to practice programming, I would suggest Java T Point is one good website for practicing programs. So you can try that website. The last and the final tip is, when you're in the last round, HR round, when they are interviewing, it will be like a common interview where they ask about yourself, why we should hire you, and you have to explain about yourself, your background, what you're doing, what you did, about your projects. So that time, don't get nervous. Some people, they get nervous, and because it's a last round and it's going to decide you're in or not. So that nervousness will take us, to a fluttering voice where they'll not get the confidence. They'll feel that you're not confident in what you're saying, or they might feel that you're bluffing with your background. So that misconception should not come. So talk very confidently and make sure you highlight all the important points, that is about your projects, about what you know, and about your certifications. That has to be highlighted more when you're saying about yourself. So make sure you add up these points. Hope this video was useful. These were the major points that I learned with my experience, and which also helped me in cracking multiple company interviews. So I wanted to make this video forever. So many people had suggested me to make this video, my friends. So it's exclusively for them. So hope this is useful. If yes, give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and catch you guys in my next video. Until then, take care.